Hello. So this is our first virtual Burlington Wine Club. And so it's kind of primitive this very first time. We don't have any wines or foods to offer other than camaraderie, and hopefully everybody has brought a little bit of their own wine. I'd like to start by saying something.
Okay.
Something. Thanks for organizing.
Okay, now I'm going to share. So this.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Too many thumbs.
Looks good. Looks good.
Okay. I'm trying to move to the next slide, but hey. I will be back. Okay, so I'm trying to. Okay.
Try your arrow key. Oh, advance the slide.
That's what I'm using. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Okay, so welcome to the first virtual Burlington Wine Club meeting. So a couple of housekeeping things. The first thing is we are being recorded. So we are recording the whole session, but if you don't want to be recorded, turn off your video. And if you really don't want to be recorded and we've done it from the beginning, let us know and we'll make sure that you're not included. Okay? So then the second thing is, if you want to ask questions, and we encourage questions, but the first thing is, if you have technical questions, if you can't do something, or you can't figure something out, or you don't know how to do something, then there's a button to raise your hand. And we have some people that will look at that and answer that. And then if you have a content question, so we have an awesome presenter tonight, but if you have a question for him, or if you have a question about membership, or a question about anything else, then go to your chat and type the question. And at some point, at different points throughout the meeting, we will actually stop and answer the different questions. And I'm really, really fortunate tonight that I have 3 co-hosts, Angela, Marilyn, and Morag. So it's not going to be me trying to figure out who's put their hands up or gone into the chat area, because as most of you know, I would be totally useless. So Angela, Marilyn, and Morag will handle all of that and figure out how to answer all of your questions. And the last thing is this: there are 2 different modes. There's a speaker mode and a gallery mode, and they have different views. So if you click on the right-hand side, you can click between speaker mode and gallery mode, and you'll see different things. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful. So before we go any further, I'm hoping that most, if not all of you, have a sparkling wine to start with. And so you may have something other than a sparkling, but of course, you know, I always start with sparkling. So tonight I have a Famiglia Cielo del 1908 Prosecco. And the reason I have this particular Prosecco is our speaker tonight is with an Ontario agency, and this is one of their Proseccos. And so they sent it to me, and I thought I would share it with you and tell you about it. It's an awesome Prosecco, and at the end of the meeting, it's available to order. But I also want to say that if you look around, we've had a number of different sparklings throughout the year: the Lambrusco, the Frisinet Cava, the Joy that came in the can, Jackson Triggs Cuvée Close, and Entourage Brut, and a Vento Rouge. But anyway, Santé, please. If everybody could say, you know, Santé. Cheers.
Cheers.
Santé.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Awesome. That's the problem with most people being muted, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple of different things. So I always talk about recent events, and of course the only recent events have been in February. We did the South African braai. So midwinter, freezing cold, we had an awesome barbecue, and Chef Mike did all the food. And we're planning to do that again next year. Maybe not South Africa, maybe Australian, but whatever. And of course, February 27th, our Burlington Wine Club meeting was Merovino Imports. And I have to say, it was actually the best wine sales ever. So for all of you that ordered wine, and the timing was perfect because we were just going into lockdown, even though nobody knew it, but the wine sales were absolutely awesome. So they were happy. They're going to be with us many more times. And hopefully you guys have some awesome wine. And then the third thing was March. Of course, nothing happened in March. Very sad. We could not do anything. We were in lockdown. We did nothing, whatever. So coming up, so we have tonight. Tonight's kind of a taster for a Zoom meeting. But of course, we haven't given you any wines. We haven't given you any food. It's a little bit tricky. What we're hoping to do is in May, we have the wine rack coming, and we'll do a Zoom meeting again. And we're hoping to do like a wine and food pairing kit for pickup. Same way as you pick up your wines, maybe you can pick up a kit for the wine club itself. So that's what we're working on right now. And also the Smart Serve. So, you know, we always need people that have their Smart Serve to pour the wines. Well, the Smart Serve organization is offering free courses right now. They seem to be a tad overwhelmed, so you might have to wait a little while, but check the Smart Serve site if you're interested at all in getting your Smart Serve, because it's free for the next couple of months. Okay, so that's something to check out. And tonight, actually, I'm really thrilled. We had organized a Rhone masterclass with Guillaume Blisson, with Gabriel Meffre wines, and he's going to come. He's here, and he's going to give us a wee bit of a teaser about the Rhone Valley, and introduce us to at least one of the wines from the area. So, but before I introduce him and turn it over to him, I want to talk about a couple of things. So one, events and promotions that are coming up. So we have 2 pages, the events page and the promotions page on the Burlington Wine Club website. The events page has always been there, but please go check there to see what's coming up, see what's canceled, see what's available, see what's going to be on video, get links to it, check out the events page. And a new page is the promotions page. So a number of our agents and wineries have offered us promotions, free delivery, discounts on wines, mixed cases, all kinds of different things, and you'll find them all on the promotions page. And there'll be instructions as to how to order. You can go directly to the agent or the winery to order. In some cases, you'll work through us, whatever. It'll all be there. And I know that there are a couple of Mother's Day promotions coming up, whereas As you know, agents don't usually offer mixed cases, but they're doing that for us. And some of them are doing them especially for the Burlington Wine Club. So Mother's Day promotions, anyway, wines that you can order and have delivered directly to your house, or in some cases to Maryland's for pickup. So after that, our Facebook sites, of course, we're trying to be a little more active with that. We have the Instagram site as well. So I have the contact for that. And brand new is we have just, thanks to Morag, who's been working with us, we have a YouTube channel. So it's kind of empty right now, but this presentation or excerpts from this presentation will be on the Burlington Wine Club YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see it there. And if we have additional presenters from our wineries or agents or wine reviews, we'll put them on the YouTube channel. So anyway, we're kind of excited about that. And it's a way to, I don't know, get some information out there and keep us having some fun. So that's it in terms of the events and the promotions. In terms of the membership, we've been talking about a number of things, and nothing's totally settled. So we have the option, so we can extend the membership renewal dates. We're looking at Zoom meetings, including presenters, wine and food, so a replacement for our regular meetings. And of course, it's all complicated by the fact that we all have different start dates. Some members are full-time, some are part-time. We have all different membership types, but we are in the process of kind of sorting it all out. And of course, we'll make sure that everybody's whole and everything's fair. But we also want to keep the club going and make sure that you have some opportunities to join the club over the next few months. Okay. Okay, so this is kind of my introduction to the winery and the wine. So the wine tonight that we're highlighting is the Plan de Dieu. It's a Côte de Rhone village. And I'm going to turn it over, but before I do, so the food pairings are braised beef, roasted chicken or vegetable, pizza, pasta. It's an awesome low tannin, fresh red fruit wine, just an excellent food wine. Oops. So at that point, yes, I'm ending. So at this point, I would like to introduce Guillaume from Gabriel Meffre. And so Marilyn, you'll have to tell me, what do I need to do?
The first thing you'll need to do is stop sharing.
Okay.
And I've made our guest speaker the spotlight, so he'll become larger.
Perfect. So I will, off.
Okay.
There you go. And
Bonsoir. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Teresa, for welcoming me in the Burlington Wine Club, and thank you for everybody to come tonight. So I'm gonna share my screen now. Work.
We're gonna need you to speak up just a wee bit louder, if that's okay.
Yeah, there we go. So, so Guillaume Blisson, I'm working. So I'm here tonight from Montreal because I'm based in Montreal. I live in Montreal for 5 years. I work for the company for Gabriel Meffre since 2007. First as the winemaker for our estates. It's actually me in the picture you can see in the middle of the vines in the Gigondas, in the Dentelle de Montmirail. So, and then I moved 5 years ago to take over the North American market. So obviously Canada and the United States for Gabriel Meffre based in Montreal. So that's why I'm still awake at this time to speak about France. So thank you very much. So what we're gonna start, if it works, with with a little bit of presentation about the Rhone Valley, the northern and the southern part. Then I'm gonna talk about the little bit of the history of the region. Please interrupt me whenever you want for questions. I will speak obviously about Gabriel Meffre, Gigondas, the wine we should be supposed to taste together, but I mean it's just postponed probably for the fall. So I have a bottle, so I will taste it for you, and the Blanc de Dieu, and a few other wine we have currently available in Ontario. So the Rhone Valley, it's the second largest vineyard of AOC in France after the Bordeaux region. So the Rhone Valley is in southeast of France. It's mostly a Mediterranean climate, and it's produced so different quantity of type of AOC. It's also because of Mediterranean climate. So Mediterranean climate is a climate for vines. The vines are from originally the Middle East, but it's still a Mediterranean climate, and so it's allow us to grow a large quantity of varieties compared to more extreme region or where they are more limited in terms of grape variety. So there's two parts in the Rhone Valley. So you can see the Rhone River along on this picture. So the Rhone River spring is in the Swiss Alps. Then the Rhone go down through Geneva on the Léman Lake, and then through Lyon. Lyon is at the top north of the map, and then it goes through the Rhone River, the Rhone Valley, until Avignon, next to Châteauneuf-du-Pape, and then it's going to in Mediterranean Sea. So, as you know, like wine region and river are always very linked. River is so important. You have the Rhingo, we have the Loire Valley, the Rhone Valley. So because it was a way in the Middle Age, or when they didn't have the highway to carry the wine, it was the only way to export the wine from where it were grow to the major city. And in this case, the major city was Lyon, where the wine from the Rhone were drank. So there is two parts in the Rhone Valley. You see the northern Rhone wine growing area. It's so we call the northern Rhone. It's a more continental climate, so it's more inland area, and only the slope of each side of the Rhone River allow us to grow wine, because there is a microclimate around those slopes, because the inclination of the slopes and the fact the slopes are looking for the sun help to grow vines. In this region, for red wine, only Syrah can grow, and for white Hermitage, Viognier, Marsanne and Roussanne for Hermitage, and Viognier for Condrieu. And in the southern part, where we're based, Gabriel Meffre, actually we're based in Gigondas. So you can see Gigondas on the right of the map, on the east side of the Rhone Valley. It's more the Mediterranean climate I was talking about. So it's really way more warmer. The Mediterranean Sea is very close, so it gives a warmer area, and so we are able to grow a large quantity and diversity of grape variety, such as the Grenache Noir, the Syrah, obviously, the Mourvèdre for reds, but also a lot of old grape variety. You probably know, or you don't know, but I'm going to tell you. In Châteauneuf-du-Pape, we can grow 13 different grape varieties. So that give you an idea. Obviously, Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvèdre are the most planted and used grape variety, but we can blend with different grape varieties. So that gives us a lot of I will say flexibility and potential in terms of type of wine, a blend of wine, and quality and sustainability. So a little bit of history. So long history in the Rhone Valley. So it all starts with Phoenician, Greek, and then the Romans very extended the business. The whole southern France was southern France was very wealthy at this time, and we know that because of the buildings they made, like the Pont du Gard, like the arena in Nîmes, the Roman theater in Orange. Those ruins are the symbol of very rich for Roman times. They didn't have war, or maybe they had at the beginning, but after that they had time to go and enjoy theater, to go to enjoy circus. So that shows how rich the region was, and that's very help us help the wine. Business to grow and to be sustainable. Then in the Middle Age, he still carry on being a wealthy area because the Pope spent 100th century in Avignon in the 13th century. So that's brought to the area a lot of money from the Catholic Church, and also Châteauneuf-du-Pape has been built. The Châteauneuf-du-Pape means Newcastle of the Pope, so that was the cottage area for the Pope at this time, and so it all started that. It also helped a lot to export the Châteauneuf-du-Pape name across obviously the area, but also in different countries outside of France. Like, I mean, all the kings wanted to have the wine of the Pope, obviously, at this time. So that was very trendy to drink the wine of the Pope. So very, always a rich region, and it's still, I will say, still a pretty rich region. South of France, a lot of money come from a lot of retired people who want to spend their retirement in the south of France. It's warmer, it's rarely -0, so that's very enjoyable for people who wants to have a nice retreat. So a little bit about the structure of the wine and all the different quality of the wine in our region. So you know Côte du Rhône. So that Côte du Rhône, it's a larger production. So as I said earlier, it's the second largest AOC in terms of production in France. So the first one is AOC Bordeaux. Côte du Rhône is the second one. Then you have the Côte du Rhône village. What's the difference between a Côte du Rhône and a Côte du Rhône village? It's so the terroir is different. I will say the more slope, premium area will be from those Côte du Rhône villages. Also, the yield is lower. So, for example, for Côte du Rhône, you're going to produce 50 hectoliters per hectare. For the Côte du Rhône village, it's going to be 40, and for the cru, it's going to be 35 or less. So that's the less production you have on your vines, going to give more complexity because it's a question of concentration. So if you put, like, imagine you make an orange juice, you put a lot of water on it, it's going to be more diluted. If you concentrate your juice, you're going to have more flavor. So that's the idea about the yield. So the lower yield you get, the more concentration you're going to have in your wines. And so tonight, the Plan de Dieu is a Côte du Rhône village with a name. So then we have so there is 20 Côte du Rhône village with a name. It's usually the last step before becoming a cru. For example, Kéran and Rasto was recently, I would say, awarded or promoted to be a cru, but they used to be Côte du Rhône village for decades. So, and Gigondas was a Côte du Rhône village, I will say, before the 1971. So there is currently 17 cru in the Rhone Valley. I don't know if there's some question maybe, but
so have there been any questions?
There's just one.
Okay.
How does the proximity to the sea make a difference in wine flavor?
Sorry?
Proximity to the sea, the Mediterranean.
So the sea act, it's like Ontario vineyards, like the sea acts keeping the whole Mediterranean area warmer than the rest of Europe. It's like Ontario Lake for the like the people living in Burlington. It's warmer than when you live in we'll say like 50 kilometers north of Burlington. You know what I mean? Like there's a microclimate because the Mediterranean Sea acts as a keep as a heat during the winter and making the area around the whole coast, Mediterranean coast, warmer. So.
Does the salt impact the flavor of the wine?
We're not that close to the sea, so it's when I'm saying close, Avignon is still 100 kilometers north of the Mediterranean Sea, so we have the influence in terms of macro climate, but it's not macro climate, but it's not micro climate. I don't know if I'm clear. But for example, like Bandol, which is an AOC just next to the sea where they grow Mourvèdre and Grenache as well, very much affected by the sea salt, and it's a very strong characteristic. But the vineyard are just next to Toulon and Marseille, so very on the sea. We are not on the sea, so we don't have the salt effect from the sea, but we have an effect in our climate for sure.
Okay. Tell us about the wine.
Yes, so just a few pictures at the vineyard around Tavel. That's the Gigondas vineyard of Grenache. That's the village of Gigondas, which is a village was built by the Romans. It was Jucunditas in this time, and it's that's the picture from the winery. So a little bit about Gabriel Meffre. Gabriel Meffre created the winery in 1936. Actually, his house is a house with a tower, so it all starts from there. It actually was the house of his wife, Juliette Chauvet. And he started with 1 hectare, and he became one of the biggest owner of vineyard in southern Rhone with several estates in Gigondas, Châteauneuf, the Plan de Dieu, obviously. The Plan de Dieu area, so the wine we are talking about tonight, is just the area in the background of the picture. You can see very far away in the background of the picture a village, that's the village of Queyranne. So in between Gigondas, so Gabriel Meffre winery, and this village of Queyranne, there is a large flat area. This is the Plan de Dieu, so plains of God in English, and that's where our vineyard from the wine we're going to talk about now is from. So that's the Plan de Dieu. So this picture is took inside the vineyard of the Plan de Dieu. So it's, as I said, a Côte du Rhône village. So it's a GSM, Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre blend. So the Plan de Dieu, a bit about the story of the Plan de Dieu. It means plains of God because in the Middle Age, when they didn't have, so there were a forest on this plain, and so that was the forest of the plain, but it became the forest of the plain of God because you have to pray God to cross the forest and being safe, because the forest was full of bad people and thieves, so it becomes the forest of the plains of God. And then Gabriel Meffre removed the forest at the end of the Second War, and it became only the Plan de Dieu, the plain of God. It actually was Gabriel Meffre was looking at the American army or maybe Canadian army at the end of the Second War, and he bought different trucks from them because they were leaving, and those trucks helped him to remove the forest and plant the vine. So this is, as you can see, a lot of gravel, very hard terroir to work with, but it's very drainy. White rocks. The white rocks are from the Dentelle de Montmirail and the Ventoux area. You can see the Mont Ventoux on a far left of the picture in a fog almost. That's the Mont Ventoux. I don't know if you're familiar with Tour de France, but that's usually a very known étape from the Tour. So those gravel are white rocks, limestone, and so very drainy. And so that make always a very fruity wine. So you can see, as Teresa was talking about the very soft tannin and the fruitiness in the wine. So that's from the Grenache. The Grenache is going to give raspberry, strawberry flavor, and the Syrah and the Mourvèdre gonna more give the backbone of the wine. I will say the tannin, the structure, but it's still very soft. We are in the south of France, so it's very warm area, so rarely green tannin because of this warm climate. It's unoaked, so it's only been aged in we use a lot of cement tank for red wine. We use stainless steel for white and rosé, but for red wines, the making wine in cement tanks, it's very very much interesting in terms of maturation and extraction. It's a little bit more softer, and also a little bit more the inercy, the temperature are more stable in cement tank. So it's a 2017 vintage, very warm vintage. Some people compare the 17 with 2003, but with a balance. So it's it was very hot summer, but a very nice vintage. It's ready to drink. I will say it's you can keep it for another 5 years easy. But I mean this wine is not to age for too long. It's got the right balance, I feel. In terms of aging, you know, like if you like fruit wines, I will recommend always not to keep them for long. If you want to see more mushroom, more what we call sous-bois forest, a little bit more earthiness coming from the wine, that could be interesting to age them. Then the Syrah and the Mourvèdre gonna give a little bit more those characteristics. But if you want the primary fruit of the strawberry, it's better, and raspberry, it's better to drink it now. If you want more cherry age, cherry style flavor, if you like those, you can keep it for a little bit more longer. Any question about the Plan de Dieu? All good?
No
So
question.
I would have, go ahead, Angela. Were there some questions?
No, there's no questions.
Okay, so
Okay.
the one thing I would add, so I kind of alluded to it earlier in terms of it being a food wine. So the Côte de Rhone Village wines in general are great food wines. So for many years, if Dave and I go to a restaurant, we look at the wine list, one of the best value, best food wines available are Côte de Rhone wines. But what I would say about this one is, like, it's juicy, it's friendly, we're going to have it with a meat pasta dish. So it's good with tomato sauce, it's good with braised beef, it's good with just a number of dishes. It's a really, really good food wine. And Marilyn, I think you've tasted it as well. So feel free at the end to jump in and give your opinion. But for me, it's like, okay, Angela, I'll order 6.
I would say more than okay. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
No, it's a really good fun wine, a good food wine.
Thanks for sharing with me.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted.
No worries. I like it. So very important for the Gabriel Meffre family, as the Gabriel Meffre family, all relatives are still own 2/3 of the AOC. So it's always have been an AOC. As you can see, it's very close to Gigondas. Very important for the Gabriel Meffre, but family. So it's the first time in Ontario, and we're very happy to see it starting. There's other wine from Gabriel Meffre in Ontario currently. So we are a producer and a négociant. I would say a Burgundy style négociant. So we own, we have 2 estates, the Domaine de Languedoc and the Château Grand Escalion, the one you can see in the back of myself. And we also have rent land or buy grapes, so which is the case in the Northern Rhone. So we have currently a Laurus Hermitage white, so very, very rare small production of white on the Hermitage. I mean, if you're a fan of Meursault or premium Burgundy and you have never had tasted an Hermitage, I truly recommend to try one. It's 100% Marsanne, fermented in barrels. So Laurus for us means our parcel selection, so very premium, small quantity of production. For the Hermitage White, we produce only 1,000 bottles in 2016, so very small production, but very, very interesting. It used to be the wine of the king. The story about the Hermitage, where is the Hermitage come from? It's because at the end of the crusade, one night, the night of Sterenberg, came back from the crusade because he wanted to pray for all the sin he probably made, and during this crusade he asked for the king to be able to become an hermit and stay on the hill of the Hermitage. So he built this chapel you can see on the picture, and he stayed and he ended his life praying alone. That's why hermit, I think, is the same word in English, but hermitage. That's come from his night in the Middle Age. It's also the kingdom for red of the Syrah. So there's more red produced on the Hermitage, but the white are very, very, very very beautiful. They used to be the wine for the king, like Henri IV, Henry IV. Used to drink Hermitage white at his table, but then the Burgundy and Champagne were more close to Paris, so they took the spot at the Kingdom of France. Anyway, there's still there's not a lot of wine available currently. I think there's still a few bottles here and there, but lovely wine. Then we have a little bit more available currently now, a Côte Rôtie, so which is also from the Northern Rhone. That really, the Côte Rôtie means roasted coast. That's the area where Syrah grape variety, Syrah, Shiraz, exactly the same grape variety, were created, were from. So 100% Syrah in our Côte Rôtie. Some people can add a little bit of Viognier in Côte Rôtie, but in ours there is only Syrah. It's a part of the Syrah from the Côte Blonde. So the picture, you can see the Rhone on the picture, and the Côte Blonde, very steep vineyard. It's called roasted coast because the Rhone, so I don't know if you remember the picture, the Rhone goes north to south, and if I go back to the map, if you look at the Côte Rôtie, is doing the Rhone going more, instead of going north to south, is going a little bit more east to west. So that means all the vineyard on the right bank of the Rhone River are facing the south, and so that's allow this area to be way more warmer than all the area around, and allow us to grow vine and to make divine wine as the Côte Rôtie. So really, if you're looking for the kingdom of Syrah in a word, I'm a little bit biased, but yeah, the Côte Rôtie is the area where you can find. We produce 4,000 bottles of this wine, so a little bit more than the Côte du Rhône, the Hermitage White, sorry, but very interesting too. 16 very beautiful vintage, less warmer than 17, but comparable to 10. So very good vintage for our region too. And another one upcoming in August, it's Côte du Rhône White from Laurus. So it's a blend. So we are back in the Southern Rhone Valley here with a blend of Viognier, Grenache Blanc, Marsanne, Roussanne, Bourboulenc, and Clairette. So you can see that we can play with a lot of grape variety when you are in the Southern Rhone. So aged partially in barrel for the Roussanne and the Viognier. So a little bit more affordable wine. It's only $20. The two other wine are around $80 a bottle. So very lovely wine with a little bit a lot of fruit. The Grenache Blanc and the Viognier got a white fruit like apricot, peach flavor from the Viognier and more white fruit from the Grenache Blanc. And then you have the Bourboulenc, it's going to give the acidity, the balance, and the Roussanne and the Marsanne for the structure. It's a very good wine in between, like having by itself or pairing with white meat, like a good suprême de volaille or fish, lobster. Lovely.
Awesome.
Voilà. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you
my
very much.
goodness. Oh my goodness. What a treat to have, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here, Marilyn, but so what a treat to have a winemaker from the Rhone come to our.
There's sorry, there's a question. Can you recommend food pairings for the Hermitage?
Hermitage, so you can serve that with there's different way. I will say it's lovely with scallops, and actually works pretty well with scallops and it's soon the season in asparagus. It's very hard to pair wine with asparagus, but that if you do a coquille Saint-Jacques with a creamy sauce plus asparagus, it's doing very well. You can also have an Hermitage with cheese. It's also a good wine to have with cheese. Imagine the Hermitage White. It's in the same area of Meursault with a little bit less buttery notes. It's less buttery, it's opulent than a Meursault, but you have still this creaminess. So because it's not a Chardonnay, it's a Marsanne. So Marsanne is a bit more mineral than a Chardonnay, and it's also on granite soil, so it's a little bit more mineral than a Burgundy wine, but it's in the same area of wine. It's not a Sauvignon Blanc, it's not a Sancerre. We are more in a wine with a little bit fat notes, complexity, almost waxy texture, not waxy in a good way, I would say. But, yeah.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions?
There's just a point of clarification. Did you say the grape was Marsanne?
Yes, Marsanne 100%. So you can grow Marsanne and Roussanne in the Hermitage, white, but for ours it's only Marsanne.
Okay, thanks.
I'm having trouble standing up now. I first encountered Marsanne in Australia and brought back a 10-year flight that had aged. Does your Hermitage age as well? So from very clear to a little darker?
Yeah, Marsanne is a very great grape variety to age. Actually, I was in a Christian Etienne restaurant just next to the Pope Palace in Avignon, like almost 15 years ago now, having a truffle menu. And in a winter, like the good season of truffle, I know it's not really the time to talk about traveling, but anyway, if things getting better, I hope. January, it's not the best season, but it's a great season for truffle. It's a brown truffle season in our region, so that's when you can get the best truffle menu in restaurant. So I was at Christian Etienne, and actually I had a Chevalier Stérimbert, which is from Jaboulet, Hermitage White, who had 15 years old. So it was a 2000, it was probably 85 or something. I have to recall that. But and it was smelling truffle, so it was beautiful. Like and we had that on a dessert, which was a dessert with a truffle ice cream. So yeah, very very much a beautiful wine. Beautiful wine, a beautiful wine to age. I mean, if you have the patience to keep in your cellar, it's always you're gonna have a lot of surprise and good surprise. I mean, it's beautiful to age. As well as a Côte Rôtie, I will say for the Côte du Rhône, Laurus and the Plan de Dieu, it doesn't need to be aged, but Côte Rôtie and the Hermitage could age. I have tasted a Côte Rôtie from the mid of 70s and it was still baby. So that really can age. This area really can age for 20, 30 years easy, depending on the vintage, obviously, and the producer.
That's fantastic.
Awesome. Actually, that's wonderful. And the wine itself. So I'm so sorry that everybody couldn't try it tonight. Next time, hopefully, we'll be able to do that. But it is a luscious, juicy, wonderful wine that is great with food. And I think the price was what, $17.95?
It is, yeah, $17.95, and it's supposed to be released in most of the LCBO, so there is already a little bit available, but it's the release date is in 2 days, so the 2nd of May.
And didn't you and Trajectory, your agency in Ontario, offer if anybody buys 6 bottles, they get a 7th bottle free? So, Angela, if people let you know.
Yep.
So if people let you know that they want some wine, you can arrange for that. No?
Will there be maybe an order form on the website, or how could we facilitate that a little easier?
They can just email me.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be easy. And then preferably an e-transfer. But if you want to do a credit card payment, then we'll have to call in to Guillaume.
Anyway, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you want to share your screen now, Teresa? If you want to take over the rest of the presentation, we're at 8:15 and we still have all 23 attendees.
Hey. Okay.
Well, Teresa's just going to wrap us up here, folks.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Actually, I hope you all really enjoyed the presentation tonight. So it's not often that we get an actual winemaker from the Rhone to come and do a talk anytime, let alone a talk online. So, Guillaume, so pleased to have you here. Really appreciate it. And I hope you bear with us. This is our first time. And Gabriel Meffre Winery. And so the wine from there, awesome. The other thing, and kind of behind the scenes, Trajectory Agency is the actual agency that is providing the wines in Ontario. So if anybody orders any of the wines, that's the agency that it comes from. And the Prosecco that I had tonight was from them as well. Anyway, and volunteers. So Angela, Marilyn, Morag, oh my goodness, this would not have happened without you folks tonight. It was awesome. It was a zillion hours in preparation and trying to figure out and train me on how to do things. In terms of wine buyers, wine buying, because that's what we're all about, right? The plan to do, it's $17.95. If you order 6 bottles, you get 1 free. So let Angela know how many you'd like, and she'll let you know when they're ready. And they're all going to be delivered to Marilyn's house, and you can pick them up there. So our usual process, but anyway, a really, really lovely wine. It's too bad you couldn't taste it tonight. It wasn't available in the LCBO, and also we hadn't really figured out how to have people taste things at home. It's a little bit tricky, but it's a nice wine. If you want it, it's available. And the other thing I will say is, so there's lots of promotions on the promotions page. So a lot of our agents, so you know, of course, our wineries and our agents are having trouble. They have no restaurant sales anymore. They're like, anyway, but we need wine, and why not order from our agents and our wineries? Like if they're coming out to the Burlington Wine Club and they're supporting us, then in these times, why don't we support them? We buy wines anyway, right? So we have a page, the promotions page, go to it. They're offering specials. Anyway, and tonight's special will be there as well, and some wines from Trajectory Winery or Agency will be there as well. And lastly, next month, we're working with the Wine Rack to provide wine and food pairings ready for pickup. So it's not 100% solid yet, but that's what we're working on. Anyway, questions?
I'll just say on behalf of the club, thank you, Teresa, for pushing forward and keeping us all connected. This was your brainchild in the beginning, and thank goodness for technology, and we will emerge from this, and you're doing a great job keeping us all connected. So thank you so much for that.
I know.
Thank you.
I'm an amateur. Thank you for all the folks that supported me in this, because yeah. Anyway, but you know what, guys? Next month it's going to be so much better, like even better, and we'll have food and wine and whatever. And but the one thing I will say is, Guillaume, so thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, like it was our first, and it was different, and we really, really appreciate it.
And I'm looking forward to do that in a real at the real Burlington Club hopefully in the fall, and
Okay,
bring to you more for wine. So yeah,
absolutely, we love it.
So everyone, there's still 23 people. I'm going to unmute all of us so we can give a Burlington Wine Club thank you to our guest speaker and to Teresa.
And also, hang around for a few minutes and talk or ask questions. I don't know really how it works.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
What is Angela's email so we can order the wine?
I'll put it in the group chat.
Oh, great. Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Or if you want, I can just read it out now. It's contact@reachic.com.
Okay. Contact at
reachic.com.
reach ICE.
No, just ic.com. But I'll put it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
And worst case, you can always send it to me.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, thank you.
Next.
Laptop, it's always along the bottom.
Oh, so nice to see everyone.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Absolutely.
Hope that you're staying well.
Beth, lovely to see you.
Stay hydrated.
Martin's here too.
Good fun.
I was looking for him.
There he is.
There you are.
Anyway, lovely.
Ah, okay.
Thanks, Teresa.
If we don't see you before, we'll see you next month, right?
Virtual hugs. Virtual hugs.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
high five.
Monsieur Blisson, au revoir.
Thank you.
Au revoir. Stay with
Bye.
Bye-bye.
No problem.
Oh, we're going to go ahead and
me.
Ready?